Against this right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. And with an introduction like that, what more can I say other than people deluded? I'm back again. First things first, appreciate all the support. Very appreciative of all of you lot locked in. Make sure you're smashing the like button, you're subscribing, you've turned on your notifications, you're checking out my description and following on all the necessary socials. Make sure you're following on Twitch as well, especially if you've got Amazon Prime. One love to everyone who's watching the YouTube ads and the Twitch ads because it helps the platform. I hope you lot are doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Hope you're well and safe. Hope you're having a progressive week off the back of a fantastic year. If I don't see you lot until 2023, for some of you, I hope 2023 is bigger and better. And of course, I hope you and your loved ones are in continued good health. To be honest with you, I can't wait to watch Arsenal versus West Ham and so on and so forth, regardless of what happens, people. But as we gear towards January, transfer news, some transfers look a bit more realistic than others. As I always say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. And if nothing more, it just provides us with something to talk about. Again, you look at people like Muydrk to a lesser degree, depending on what you read, but Danilo, Telemans, it seems like there's legs in Arsenal's interest for these guys. Where João Felix, Vlahovic, you know, all of these guys are concerned. We'd all love it, even Raphina, what we're going to get onto, but probably unrealistic, definitely in January. But who knows, people? Like I said, talking points and nothing more. So get set, get ready. Let me share my screen with you lot and let's get into it. Enough rambling. What Barcelona insiders are saying about Arsenal potentially signing Ferran Torres. Arsenal are on the lookout for a new attacker following Jesus' injury, and rumours have linked the Gunners with a move to sign Barcelona's Ferran Torres, which, you know, he's 22. He can play on the left, play on the right, from the same country as Mikel Arteta. They've both worked at Manchester City. The £55 million deal hasn't quite worked out. I think he's a talented lad. Exactly. When he left City, he was actually in good form. Didn't he leave City due to homesickness? And what, he's probably been there a year, 18 months, people. In fact, it says in this article he joined them in January. So if you're homesick, if you've just joined a club like Barcelona at 22 years of age, are you going to give up on it now? Anything can happen. But as you see in January, it's more of a reactive window. In a nice way, nobody would want to sign anyone in January because you'd have enough in the summer. And what I mean by reactive is obviously there's injuries, there's players saying they want to leave, there's contract stuff and all of these things. And reaction in Ferran Torres' case is, quite simply put, hasn't delivered really and truly for Barcelona. A bit like Raphina, what we're going to get into soon. Let's see exactly what's been said, people. We know Jesus is injured. Dean Jones has revealed that Arsenal really like Torres and genuinely believe he might become available in the January transfer window. He also claims that the Gunners inquired about signing him last summer, but no deal materialized, as probably we was chasing Pedro Neto and the pursuit of Raphina, people. Apparently, he's unlikely to leave Barcelona in January. This is Dean Jones's personal feeling, as he said there. So, you know, he doesn't work for Barcelona. Anything can happen, but I somewhat share the same opinions. But nonetheless, my personal feeling is that I can't see him leaving Barcelona yet. It seems like people in Barcelona seem to think this too. Is he really going to give up on a club like that so quickly? And I'd say that with Vlahovic as well, probably not. But if he's told he doesn't fit in at all and he has to consider something else, then Arsenal, is great backup plan right now. Allegedly. So yeah, it seems like he's unlikely, but I would have him for what it's worth. Moving on, a lot harder. Journalist who interviewed Muydrk drops key update over Arsenal's bid to sign the winger. At this point, you have to be training that London goalie. You had to have played in our behind closed doors friendly against Luton, man. You're an Arsenal player. This is worse than Mvia and stuff like that, man. Muydrk, at this point, if you don't sign, we need to riot at the Emirates because there's been too much now. As we know, Arsenal are working on a deal to sign Muydrk in January, having made the Shakhtar winger their top priority in the transfer market. The 21-year-old is wanted by several clubs after scoring 10 goals and providing 8 assists in 18 games for Shakhtar this season. Allegedly, the Ukrainian club are under no pressure to sell. He's contracted until 2026, and they're asking for figures for him as high as 100 million euros. They know that that's not going to happen. Ben Jacobs, who interviewed Muydrk in September, says Arsenal have no problem convincing the winger to join. However, he claims the Gunners might struggle to get Shakhtar to sell in January. And I mean, that's the same with, to a degree, Raphina. We was the third choice behind Chelsea and Barcelona. Pedro Neto wanted to join us. A lot of players will join Arsenal. I think Arteta can convince them, you know, the historical prestige of Arsenal and the current project. But it's down to convince the clubs, dot I's and cross T's, and quite simply put, give Shakhtar what they want. And for someone who's 21 years of age, linked with a whole host of clubs across the top 5 European leagues, specifically the Premier League and the riches, can you blame Shakhtar for wanting to sell their prized possession for the top money? I don't think anybody could, people. David Ornstein has also said that he's determined to make the Emirates his destination, and he's given several interviews, spoken with Zinchenko's wife, done everything he could, spoken of us on social media. We've been here before. He's actually said, I checked them on in my score and know when they're playing. I can check on them. I also watch them too. Arsenal, a very dynamic side in general, not just in controlling possession, but also in scoring goals. I mean, you're a winger, come score some goals here, really. So it all depends what you read here, people. So yeah, allegedly their priority target is Shakhtar the next winger, Mikhailo Muydrk, and sources with knowledge of the matter think there's a good chance it will happen, though nothing is agreed at present, said Ornstein. Shakhtar have stated their value for the highly coveted Ukraine international as high as 85.9 million, in brackets, 100 million euros. But interested parties are of the understanding that a lower fee would be deemed acceptable, of course. He's added that Ornstein is keen to make the move to the Premier League and determined to make the Emirates his destination. Why not, people? And he also previously hit out about, the 100 million price tag a few months ago. He said, when I found out about my price, I wasn't just surprised, I was shocked. I have a long-term contract with Shakhtar. I will give all my strength and energy so that Shakhtar achieves maximum results. But every footballer has a dream to play in a top club and in a top championship. I am no exception. But I'm 100% sure they are unlikely to buy a player from the Championship of Ukraine for 100 million euros. I will not hide that I was very upset. The amount of 100 million puts a barrier for my transition to the top championship, which I so dreamed of. I can't say that my dream was killed, but wounded for sure. And I mean, he knows that, Arsenal know that, Shakhtar know that, but that doesn't mean that they can't get 50 odd million or so, really and truly. And again, a regular theme is that we hear clubs are still trying to achieve their own thing. Shakhtar are still trying to do their thing. So if you want to inconvenience them and leave them at a disadvantage, you have to give them the money so that they can make a profit, reinvest that into the club in terms of a replacement, etc., etc. And as you see here, he was even spotted in Dubai, man. There's several reports here, man. He's doing all he can. He's doing all he can. And apparently the Shakhtar chief has confirmed that a January move is possible. At the moment, we are quite far from what we want and what clubs propose. It's not so far, but it is not what we need. We have discussions, one club, another club, they negotiate. We are in the process. Will it close this month? I don't know. It's maybe 50-50 with regards to the winter market. I don't want to talk about figures now. We are in discussions. We have interest from English clubs and we are in the process, people. So draw of that what you want. Do I have another one? I think I had something else. Again, check out the YouTube playlist because we haven't missed a beat where Muydrk is concerned, people. But I feel like I've either closed the tab or done something in that regards, people. So we're just going to have to hold that one. Again, as you can see here, Arsenal active in Muydrk pursuit. Arteta has said we'll be active in January. We are going to be active, and active means we are looking to strengthen the team. This squad still doesn't have the luxury of not maximizing every single window. We have to do that because it's really important. But then we have to get the right profile. It has to be the right player to take us to the next level. We'll be in the market, always active, and we'll assess the biggest opportunities that we have. Apparently, we tried to get him in the summer as well. So there's got to be something, people. No, don't really care for Vlahovic, but if you do, a former pundit has said he arrived in Turin with the game, which objectively isn't there, perhaps at the wrong time. Vlahovic is still young, and it's right for Juventus to back him, provided that he manages to find motivation. Don't know about that. We were linked with, Enzo Fernandez, and apparently Benfica rejected an £86 million bid. 7-year deal for Cristiano Ronaldo in Saudi Arabia. It's good for his money. I'm not too sure that's the right thing to do, really. Jamie Carragher's had some smart words. He said, Arsenal should learn from the mistakes of their North London rivals when they were in a similar position under Pochettino and Harry Redknapp. Both their Tottenham sides had great chances to win the league at this point of the season in January 2012 and 2016. Spurs win the league. Come on, Jamie. Spurs were genuine contenders. one quality signing away from continuing their momentum. Although their long-term planning has taken them this far, Arsenal will not want to look back with similar feelings of if only in 6 months' time. And again, we could just look at January of what Arsenal didn't do or what we did do and what Spurs did or didn't do as a point as to how it's not just as simple as that as to how they got top 4 people. So it is what it is, man. But it's nice to hear the gaffer say we're going to be active in the market and all those things. Again, check out the YouTube playlist because I've dropped a video on this. But Arsenal are to trigger the 2-year contract extension for Charlie Patino as he stars on loan. Probably will be in line in terms of getting a new contract. Talented player, progressing well on loan at the moment at Blackpool. Again, one you can handle multiple contracts, but you'd imagine Saka, Saliba, Martinelli, precedent, then the Patinos, the Ethans, the Miles, confirming them, and it's lovely to see. So, yeah, as you know, his contract expires at the end of the season. I think he has the potential within the next 18 months to gradually progress into Arsenal's first team and be the next guy to come from Haylen via Luton, but via Haylen. He's a lovely footballer. He's even better human being like Ethan and Miles, which is why they'll have good careers in life and be good people. We've seen this already. In relation to Cody Gakpo, we all know that he's not going to Arsenal. He's going to Man United unless Man United go away. Very dangerous player, wants to join Manchester United, not Arsenal. I mean, we've heard that with him, really. His willingness to join. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's got his fellow countryman in Ten Hag. His current manager, as you can see there, Ruud van Nistelrooy, probably gassing him up, really, about going there. Obviously, he plays for Holland. Lisandro Martinez plays for Argentina, but they both played in the Eredivisie, and every footballer knows everyone. There's talking points there. He's gonna go Man United unless there's something else really. So we should be interested in Gakpo. He fits the profile of someone we want to bring in, but that one there is probably a myth. And for what it's worth, people, Ten Hag has said there were many, many good players in the World Cup. Van Nistelrooy says there's a point when you can't say no to bids. You can say that for many players. Lovely game of chess being played there from the Manchester United gaffer. Again, I've spoken about this, but Arsenal have been offered Rabiot on a deal as his contract runs down at Juventus, so he could be available for a cut price in January. Define cut price because you might pay a low cost fee, a bit like Memphis to pay, but it's not that it's still not going to be cheap, but they're in a bigger position to get bigger wages and things like that. And at 27. The next move from a sporting perspective is important, much less the money you're getting at 27 years of age, really. So I don't think Arsenal will go for it. I mean, he'd be a good addition, but I would probably pass on this, really. But who knows, people? Garnacho, apparently his contract is running down at Man United. He'll end up signing a new contract or going somewhere else. Arsenal apparently being linked with him. Arsenal and everyone have to be keeping tabs. Same way that everybody's keeping tabs on Ethan, whether he's going to sign a scholar or not. But according to this report, Chelsea and Arsenal are keeping tabs on the 18-year-old situation at Old Trafford, people. You know, unless you're going to go to a Dortmund or an Ajax or a Monaco or somewhere you're going to play games. Obviously, we're doing this youngster thing and I'll have him. He looks like a baller, but it don't make sense. It definitely don't make sense going Chelsea away from Graham Potter and things like that. But Chelsea are trying to sign all the regens and sick youngsters and things. Again, it seems like you're making progress under Ten Hag. Do your thing. You could sign us because we got a young squad. But for me, you'd probably have to take a step down to really see the benefits. Like go to an Ajax or Dortmund, one of these clubs where there's less resources, they're less likely to be under pressure to challenge for trophies and learn your trade. And then, you like with Jadon Sancho to Dortmund, and then the move will happen. But I think he'll sign a new deal at Man United, but I don't know anything, and I don't really care for that. Vlahovic is open to leaving Juventus in January amid interest from Arsenal and Manchester United. And there's also Chelsea links. The three clubs, for different reasons, all need a striker, as well as it's easy to link any midfielder and say we're all looking at it. Again, Juventus find themselves, pending a sort of federal case, really, with their dodgy accountants. So that's where that comes from. He joined in January. I mean, if they say you want to go, you have to go. And there's been talks, his agent has spoken about this, but there's nothing there really and truly. In relation to Muydrk, apparently many clubs have taken an indirect interest in Muydrk without an official offer. There have been a lot of phone calls. I believe that today the Italian teams find it difficult to take a profile like this, both for what it's worth and for the lack of courage in investing in such a profile. And again, we covered these comments from the chief of Shakhtar, or the sporting director, and he basically name dropped Arsenal. Check out my YouTube playlist, people, because I don't know where that article would be at this moment. Mavropanos, apparently Atletico Madrid want to sign him, people. So I hope we've got a sell-on clause in that regards. We've been linked once again, people, with Ivan Fresnadar, who's doing well at Valladolid, can play right back allegedly as well as out wide. Don't know if the Spain under-19 international is going to leave in January. If he can play right back and we let Cedric go, then it makes a lot of sense, people. Apparently, they'll let him go if they receive a bid of 15 to 20 million euros, which isn't that much. But do we have money? Obviously, if the Kroenkes back us, but 50 odd million for Muydrk, dealing with midfield, and then have a spare 15, 20 in January for a right back. I don't know. For the 18-year-old, you're doing well at Valladolid. If I was him, I'd stay at least until the end of the season, and you're playing. There's no pressure. There's no rush to make the move, and then you keep it moving, really. But he's drawn interest from a whole host of clubs, people. So we'll have to see what's going on there. I can't deny Arsenal interest is there in relation to Muydrk. So this is the article. Arsenal's interest is there. I cannot deny it. However, today he was called up for the first training camp, which runs from January the 9th to February the 9th. Then in Warsaw, we'll prepare for the next European games. Many clubs have taken an indirect interest in Muydrk without an official offer. There have been a lot of phone calls, which isn't anything unique, people. Arsenal reportedly confident they could wrap up a deal in January, as the Ukrainian is said to be keen on a move to the Emirates. However, they will have to negotiate the valuation with Shakhtar, as Nicoli previously insisted that Muydrk would cost over 100 million. We value Muydrk more than Anthony of Manchester United, who cost 100 million euros. We are not obliged to sell. We do not want to make a phenomenon. So draw in whatever conclusion you want there. We've seen Mikel Arteta's comments about that. In relation to Raphina, it's not happening really and truly. He's 26. It's not happening in the first. That's a very ugly picture of Neymar crying in it. But it's not happening for him right now at Barcelona. I mean, he has to persist. You're not going to be Luka Muydrk, but Luka Muydrk struggled in his first year at Real Madrid. Some journalists labeled him a flop and one of the worst players in La Liga. Look at him now. I must admit, it does feel to a degree like we've dodged a bullet with Raphina, because he's a talented player. But respectfully to Leeds, if you just get the ball off the right wing and shoot from 30 yards, Leeds will let that fly. At Barcelona, you can't do that. And your technical brilliance and all of that is irrelevant. I always give the example. If I start off in a small town and I'm the smartest kid, I'm 8 years of age, I'm doing uni work and stuff, and some mad school that hosts all these talented young kids sees me and says, you know what, we're going to take you to this special school where there's like 30 kids from all across the country, maybe even the world, that are as smart, if not smarter. Does it really matter how smart you are or what defines you? At Barcelona, you've got there because you're good technically or whatever. And it seems like he has to learn a lot. I'm sure you saw him you stunk up the place for Brazil as well, but I'm sure you saw him stink up the place for Brazil. So maybe Barca want to get rid. Apparently for me, it was done when I have a deal, my word is my word, said the owner of Leeds in relation to Chelsea over Raphina, where we heard via David Ornstein that we were third choice. First choice was Barca, then Chelsea, then it was us. And Edu did confirm we did have some conversations, people. Apparently, Chelsea and Arsenal might therefore be interested to learn that Barca are becoming impatient with Raphina, as they expect much more. Apparently, the Catalans knew there would be a period of adaptation. They are growing frustrated at Raphina not exploiting his talents. There's also concerns at his unhappiness. Barca will review the situation at the end of the season, but they know that the 26-year-old has a huge market back in the Premier League. Well, you're going to have to sell him slightly cheaper than what you gave him away for. And I wouldn't give up on it yet. Just like with Vlahovic and Raphina. If the club say you have to, and Ferran Torres, if the club say you have to leave, then you have to leave in it. But you just have to keep going, really. And again, once again, check out my YouTube playlist. We were linked with activating Benassia's release clause, which works at 50 million euros, 44 million quid. We've been linked with McAllister. Brighton are unwilling to sell, not just to us, but a whole host of people. As you lot can see here, people. Rabiot business won't go away. Ferran Torres stuff won't go away. Dusan Vlavic's agent doesn't rule out January transfer, as you can see there. We've been linked with Isco and Ceballos. As I said, it's silly season, people. So you're going to have to draw whatever conclusions you wish from such people. And with that being said, that seems to be the latest news at this moment in time. Any other news, I'll be very reactive and get the vids out for you lot. If you need any more, check out the YouTube playlist. Check out the rest of my vids. Make sure you're following on YouTube and Twitch, Deluded Gooner. On Twitch, Deluded Gooner 04 on Instagram, and obviously on Twitter. If you're not going to follow anything, make sure it's Twitter, Instagram, and you're checking your YouTube community tabs. Thank you for everyone who's watched the ads of this channel, because it means the world, people, and it helps the channel. Most importantly, thank you very much for your consistent support. If you're new here, smash the like button, because you know you're here for life. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. At the time of making this video, it is a Friday, so I want to say Merry Christmas in advance, and all of those things. Enjoy it. And yeah, if I don't see you lot, stay safe. Stay blessed. One love for supporting. I'm going to let you lot go. I'm going to love and leave you lot. One love.
first because he always used to act when like defending.
I think it's like